Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? It is your sister and friend Crystal Cross right here on the Morning Jam podcast. I am super excited to have the one and only Alan Wright here with me. This is no friend zone. This is no cuz. Well, it could be cousin. This is family. What's up, Alan? How's it going?
I'm doing well. I always love seeing you. We miss you. So much stuff we got to talk about.
Is that how it is? I miss you. Alan, listen, I'm so honored to have you on with me, just being a part of my platform, because I know that you are one that is out here doing the thing and just being, a servant, just being a part of your community. So right now, I just want you to let the people know your name and where you're from.
So I'm Alan Wright, from Chicago. Had to define myself: father, philanthropist, fun.
Exactly. That is cool, Alan. I definitely love that you have your children and just being that awesome dad that you are. So how has it been with the COVID in Chicago for you?
It has been absolutely different. Mayor Lightfoot tend to shut everything down. I mean, just shut everything down. And restaurants in the area where I'm at, River North, tend to have gotten it the worst because there were a lot of bars, lots of restaurants. So it just shut the area down. And it wasn't as bad. I mean, other areas they had, partial openings and things. All of our clubs and bars just shut down. So we were, Chicago nightlife, you come to River North, or if you're visiting, you come to River North in Chicago. For restaurants, if there's dining, you come there. And it hurt a lot of businesses. So It's been rough.
Wow.
Then besides the kids having cabin fever.
Yeah. So I know it's been difficult for you being like a school teacher as well, because I know that you have your children. So how has that been for you?
Oh, my goodness. Knock on wood. It was the oddest thing. The kid that did kind of okay in school, became honor roll, AV honor roll.
Wow,
I guess it was the setting. This is how people learn different. But she, with her not being next to all of the kids in class, she learned a lot more. I would pay more attention. So, or maybe it's because I was there, you better.
You better listen to me. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can get that feedback in their class. I can hear them in gym, pay attention, da-da-da. But so they loved it. They actually a little sad. They're going back next week. So they're, partially, so they're a little, they enjoy the home learning.
Well, my son actually here in Arkansas, definitely, he had a choice to do online virtual or still go to class. So, there was a lot of students here in Arkansas that still was going to class, and a lot was at home doing the thing. So he was back and forth. He did a little bit in school, then he went back to virtual. So it definitely was a challenge for the both of us. I do take my hats off to the teachers now. Thank y'all.
I do too. They have a lot on their plate, especially coming up. So
yeah. So I know for you, Alan, you have so much on your plate. I was actually reading your bio, and I was like, "Dang, Alan, you are like the bomb." And it's amazing how our Black amazing young men are out here really hitting it up, going for what they want, doing their dream, living their dream, and reaching their goals. How has that been for you?
Well, I definitely think that Black excellence has to be led by example. You have to see it. The only way, you can teach the lesson and preach the lesson, but you got to see the lesson. And in order to do that, I realize a lot of things I do, it's not just about me. It's more than having a big heart. It's more than just, taking the not-for-profit realm into things. It's about, creating other folks that can move on from your legacy, not just your children, but other people who can look at you. And for me, I'm a lead by example, show coach kind of person. So you see, I put my hands in kind of everything and have a passion again for philanthropy, nonprofit, but still that same way, teach you that capitalism.
Yeah. So who was that for you to be that example for you to say, okay, so I watched this man, and man, he is out here doing it. Who's been that for you?
I got to tell you, I sourced so many people, from my down to my pastor, Bishop Horace C. Smith, who is
Yeah.
a PhD, a doctor. He's a hematologist, dealing with children's issues of, obviously a cancer in the blood. And
Yeah.
at the same time, pastor of a megachurch, what we'd be considered. So when I think about influences, that's one of the first thoughts goes directly to him, and just some of the other strong Black men that I had in my life to kind of show me, hey, you can do this. A lot of them didn't have that level of success, and things. I remember getting my first mentor when I worked at Citibank, saying, I realized, I said, hey, I need you to be my mentor. I want to get to where you are. And he was the head of the North American operations. He says, yeah, I'll mentor you. And that matters so much, getting a mentor, getting someone that's in your corner that's going to say, don't do that, or be this way. It really makes so much of a difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. So has there ever been a point in time where your mentors have really felt at one point in time in their life and you was like, man, I definitely don't want to make that mistake, or man, he was just not the best mentor that I thought he was going to be? Has that ever been a time for that?
No, I haven't had that happen yet. But I will say,
That's good.
but I will say, I've seen a lot of people who, go through, the challenges. But at the end of
Yeah,
the day, we're all human. We're all
exactly.
human. And everyone's going to have, their challenges, but it's how you get through them and how you get ahead in that makes you, strong.
Yeah. So is there a point in right now where how old are your children now?
Oh my God, my children are 13, 12, and 9.
Wow. So they're right at that age of processing everything, figuring out what they're, at least wanting to do. Is there a point now where you said, okay, look here, guys, this is where you need to be in life. This is what you need to be focusing on. Has it reached that yet?
Well, for me, I think that's the strength of a father.
Mm-hmm.
So when my children were in probably kindergarten, we had this conversation. Remember my middle child that's 12 now, she was in
Yeah.
kindergarten. I said, I sit them down, like they understand banking, they understand finance to a degree. They ask me their account balances. They're like, yo, when can I get my
Oh,
debit card? Blah,
wow.
blah, blah. So, that's a product of me directly.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were in kindergarten, I sat them down and I said, look, you have a choice of your career in life. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, or you can be in finance. And they looked and they said, okay, Dad. And they never questioned it, whatever. So then they had the teacher in school comes and, says something like this to my daughter. My daughter comes home after school one day. She's just distraught. And she says, Dad, my teacher says I can be whatever I want to be. And I was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, you can't. She goes back to school. The next day she comes home and she says, you know what, Dad? My teacher said you were right. And, and it was just like this moment of
Wow.
epiphany for her, because it was like, the teacher did vilify what, the teacher said, what you said
Yeah.
is absolutely
Yeah.
correct, because it's so important, especially in the African American community, to have guidance. That's why we don't create generational wealth. That's why we
Yeah.
don't, we're not able to pass that on, nor it lives a generation. And even you think of our uber wealthy, our ultra wealthy stars, the Michael Jacksons, even Michael
Yeah.
Jordan, the wealth is, in generations will be gone. You won't know that it's that legacy. Whereas you look at something like a Rockefeller or, even Warren Buffett, how long that'll live. So that's part of what my
Mm-hmm.
dissertation was on as well, too. So,
Yeah.
it's important. Got to build minds young. And it's so important, especially for
Yeah.
us, to give that direction. That's the best gift we can give them.
That's true. I love that because I have really, Alan, poured into my son, son, you can, and I even told him that. And when you said that, I was like, oh, maybe I should have told him that. Because I always tell him, you can be whatever you want to be, but really when there is guidance to lead them to, where their potential, their growth can be, and that's where you need to actually direct them in. So that's awesome. I love that. That's great. I'm gonna have to rethink that and be like,
I
okay, son,
mean,
let's
we have generations of, when I look at it, when I see my clients that when I was seeing in banking, coming down, they had, there were 7 generations deep dentists. or 8 generations deep of doctors, things like that. And I didn't see that in the African American community. It's like, oh yeah, my father was a doctor, but he didn't live with us because he couldn't stand my mother and blah, 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 blah. And now, I'm going to be a nurse, so, but that's as close as we got to it. It's not just that this is what you're going to do, because the family structure starts to deconstruct. So, and that's our most critical thing that, we can have as far as changing our disposition.
So what made you get into financing and everything like that?
Well, it's funny. So I wanted to, and I thought about this very practically when I was in high school. I said, I want to learn more about money because I wanted to know why we didn't have it growing up poor.
Right.
And then I wanted to know more about God, because my mother always told me, hey, God's way. I don't care what you believe in, but this is what I believe as a Methodist, blah, blah, blah. And, and God loves you. And that was all I needed to take off and run with it, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn more about those two things in a selfish way. Not that I would go preach and so forth, or not that I would, even though I kind of do, but not that I would go and, teach, but that's what I wanted to do for myself. And, then I found the perfect mix in the school that I chose, which was a theological seminary also as well. And it had, one of the best finance programs. It was a perfect fit for me at North Park University. Yeah. So I jumped right in and, learned those things and off went that career.
Yeah, because it says in your bio, the finance industry over 15 years ago. Wow, that is like a long time. So you know the ins and outs. You know how to make some money out of it. We need to talk about that. I need to learn how to make some more money.
Oh, see, money loves you. It's always there, and it always wants to grow. It always wants to have babies. It's a matter of you nurturing it. It's just like a relationship.
That's so true. So true. I can say, Alan, that I'm definitely I'm learning how to work my finances a little bit better than I used to. It's such a growth. It's a growing process for me, because I was one to not do so well in that area. But I've definitely learned with like my money and all that stuff. So it has taken time, but I have definitely, it's a growth process, and meeting that is very important for me at the time. Especially I'm single, all single ladies. I'm a single lady now, but we have to definitely save in that area to to do exactly what and there's so much on my plate like now that I want to accomplish, and it's definitely going to take finances, and that's what I'm working toward, because I know nobody's going to pour into me like I pour into myself. So
yeah, that's so true. And I'll tell you, a lot of times we think about it, but it's, we think we have to work 80 hours a week and then just work harder. Sometimes it's appropriate to work harder, but sometimes it's inappropriate to work harder, but to work smarter. So I love that I'm seeing these little and all over, even though they kind of made it into a mini pyramid scheme type thing, but I love seeing these Forex trading groups. I love seeing these, kids in all these different platforms, and then they send each other signals and blah, 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 blah. I love seeing the thought, but just not the ideal of monetizing it into a club, but but that they're learning some sort of method of investment. Like for me, when I was coming up in finance, we didn't want to touch Forex. We didn't want to touch options. We didn't want to touch the currency tradings, because it was like picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. So if it was me, I was trading on the Oslo, getting, at like 3 a.m., our time, getting, money off of that. And I was like, okay, this is boring, but I'm doing currencies. But so I kind of don't care for that, but I love to see finance be more talked about, because there's 3 areas that we lack in general, I think, as African-American community and so forth, which is finance, understanding military and high ranking, and also mating. We don't talk about that. Mating. That's a really difficult thing there, because mating is not getting with the cute girl. Mating is not hooking up.
That's true.
Mating takes all that into finance and strategy and everything. Yeah. Because then we end up like, man, you know what? She ain't so cute today. Ooh, his teeth don't look right today. And then it's like, all right, bye. But it all wraps in. Right?
It does, yeah.
So when we have that plan, to build together, if you're coming together, and I think in the general, and I've made this mistake, as well too, just, going ahead, I thought, ooh, well, I've got a kid on the way. I'm going to get married. And it was like everything, finance, love out the window. You didn't think about what happened. And, obviously that didn't work out. So, but we all have to learn. But when you get into the point where you're truly looking at, well, how do we grow? Even if it's just us taking our side money, investing in a cleaning business in our neighbor's dream as we build a community, even not if we're not the only ones doing it. Let's start this LLC. Let's start this partnership, and let's invest in having some type of business on that side so that you can truly grow your money, even when you're making that hard-earned money, if it's getting into forex, or if it's getting into just investing in the market. So it's just about it's an overall bigger strategy.
It is. It's like it's a bigger picture than what we actually look at on a day-to-day basis. So thank you, Alan, right here on the Morning Jam podcast. My brother Alan here. I'm so excited. I'm grateful. And that was some knowledge that was just dropped on me real quick that I just need to really process too. So let's get into what you are into, like all that you're into. So right now you're a director of investments for NBW Films. So how is that for you? What is that? What is NBW?
So an NBW Films is founded by Nicole Bowers-Wallace, who she made a film that was aired. It was originally going to be for schools and so forth in 2019 called Ring of Silence. And Ring of Silence really delves in and it explores the human trafficking side and how people are being trafficked in broad daylight. So, which now I believe it's on Amazon Prime right now. You can check it out. But so we're doing the Emmett Till story. So we embarked on this journey, I don't know, about 2 years ago, almost now.
Wow.
COVID kind of stopped, a lot of the shooting and the movements of it. But I'm executive producing, one of the executive producers on that as well, too. And, we're going to tell the Till story. We're finally going to do it Hollywood style on the film, and you'll actually see it. So we don't want to go to Netflix, go to Hulu thing. We want you on the silver screen. So we really want to wait for the world to be a better place. And additionally, as you know, near and dear to my heart, we're also producing the Bernie Mac story. So that's going to be interesting when you get into the casting and all the things and that, and telling certain celebrities that you really love or have a crush on, like, oh no, you're not the right person for this role. It is funny, but it's a really great things coming. So
I'm excited.
Definitely look out for
I'm
that.
excited for you, Alan. I'm like honored to know you because you have so much talent and so much skill. So when I connect with someone, because we definitely connected through the Bernie Mac Foundation when I was a speaker, and actually I was just a visitor, just recording and coming and just spreading, the Bernie Mac Foundation and being a part of it. Was such an honor for me. It was such an honor to meet Miss Rhonda McCullough and you guys, and just how hard you guys work behind the scenes as well as in front of the scene. It was just, I think for me, it was an eye opener. Like, if you really want it, Crystal, you really got to work for it. This is what you want to do. You got to work hard for it. And I take my hats off to you guys.
Thank you. And a lot of that, it was just, it was really just three of us putting a concept together, like, hey, we want to do this. Then it shifted into the awards because we gave out an award. And then when we got to that year 3, I believe it was, I was like, no, we got to get Crystal on here. See what she's doing in media, what she's doing, trying to, get her career together and her story of success and so forth. So we were able to, view that Dorothy Bland Award, Warrior Award was amazing and well deserved.
Honored. So honored.
And it's weird seeing you not without the curly, hair. So is this post-COVID or is this single hair?
This is single hair. This is like, let's cut it off and see what we're gonna do.
This is reinvented Crystal. I love it.
It is, but it was shorter, Alan. It's actually growing back out now.
Okay, it's worth it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just truly blessed. Like you said, the Dorothy Bland Award, I was so honored to receive that award and be a part of the event. And man, it was so surreal. Like, wow, this is just
and your first one that you came to was the smallest one we'd ever done. First we went really, really big, then we kind of went smaller, which you were at, and then it was like back to the really big. So I know you weren't expecting it when you got there to the Well, that's from our offices in Wintrust. So
Yeah, let me tell you this, Alan. We were sitting at the table, and my son was like, "Mom, it's almost time for you to get up. I'm getting sick." I was like, "KJ, you're not even speaking. What is going on with you?" He said, "I know, but you're fixing to talk in front of all these people." He was like, "I'm getting sick, Mama, for you." I was like, "KJ, no." We just have to really prepare ourselves and just go with the flow. We got to go with the flow. But that was such an honor. I thank you guys for that. Um, and what way did the Bernie Mac Foundation put a stamp on your life? What way was it?
I can definitely tell you just being around so much Black excellence. Like I said again, that excellence is
Yeah.
shown. It's shown and through Ed Williams, who continues to be my mentor.
Yeah.
Who they have an award I believe named after now. It was really great. Just being able to see that and be in the room full of all those folks, Dennis Irvin,
Yeah.
Doug Gaines, all these people, just being in at the table with them, decision making about something we were passionate about, was really great. And also to just getting to be in that
Yeah.
area, yeah, that space, and it was so big. But now I'm doing much more bigger things, so forth. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Stepping out on your own, doing. I see you, Alan. I
yeah,
see you. I'll be coming in on your help. Like, wow. So,
but
so
love to
Alan.
them,
So,
love to them.
yeah. Like right now, where you are now, has there, and looking back on things, would there be anything good or bad would you take away from your journey now?
The only thing that I would probably take away from my journey is saying I do when I wasn't ready.
That's
but
good.
but the result was always good because God's plan is always bigger than our mistakes.
Yeah.
God's plan is always bigger than our lack of knowledge.
Hmm.
We don't need to know why. We just need to have the trust to move forward and to do what we need to do in faith. And when that happens, everything always works out. And
Yeah.
I think about where I'm at, where I'm going, and I just say I'm blessed. What more can I say? It's a joy to see tomorrow. It's a blessing to get to tomorrow.
I know, right? Because the things that I've accomplished already, even with the Bernie Mac Foundation, with different awards that I've received with my sisters and singing and traveling and just doing it. I mean, like you said, I wouldn't change anything, but I would do things differently. I would
Yeah.
go about it another way, because it still was a blessing. God still moved and he still worked in those areas that I walked through. So sorry, hold on just a second. This is crazy. This happened last time, Alan.
That's all
Hold on.
right. Love it. It gives me a chance to spiff my camera.
All right. Um, so Alan, let's get into what you serve in now, because you serve like on the board of directors of the Greater River North Business Association. Can you tell me about that?
So what the GRMBA does, so we're one of the most powerful chambers, I say, in the Chicagoland area. There's
Mhm.
probably two other big ones as well too. We're right up there. What we do is we really, through membership, we provide a platform for our businesses that are in the area to grow. We provide a
Mhm.
platform for the businesses to network, to communicate with each other, and also to ensure that they are good citizens as well too of the community of Chicago in general in downtown Chicago and
Oh,
of other businesses as well. So, we give them that opportunity through, helping with beautification of the city through our banner program, through being able to connect and host each other as well,
yeah.
so that we bring them to the table together and we come with greater solutions for things.
Wow.
We're really a really big part when everything started happening with COVID. It was like, well, how can we help? Can we go and try to help them get their permits to be able to have their tables outside? Things like that. We worked diligently throughout the summer to get done with our president, Marty Padilla, who did that. So, and Todd Howie. That's just a great, really, bunch of folks that we just, put it together and try to make sure that our businesses thrive. We had a program where we were going to get free tents for everybody,
Mm.
sponsored, so that people could have tents outside of businesses that couldn't afford them so they could, small businesses could have their restaurants be there and do that. But the Illinois Chamber of Commerce stopped that. But still, it's just those little things that small business owners just don't know. We provided a business resource center, so people can log on and talk to an expert, whether that expert's me or someone, or a lawyer or attorney, for free. That's something that we offer as our membership. So that's really a key part of making a difference in Chicago. And that's where, I take the most pride in, being a part of that, and chairman there. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I want to talk about your director for the Nigeria Global Chambers of Commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
So my micro thing is kind of the GRVA, and the macro is the Nigeria Global Chamber of Commerce. What the Nigeria Global Chamber does, this organization that really helps African and African American business owners come into a place where they can network and get access to resources as well. Whether that's, understanding COVID-19 relief, how to fill out an application, or, little things like, how do I get into import and export? So we'll host expos with the head of the SBA, things like that, and show people how to get into that and connect them with people on the other side of the diaspora with how they can, network and create import export opportunities. So we're proud to help tons of business launch. We helped Dubu Cosmetics launch, which is pure shea butter from like literally Africa, and I've never seen anything this pure. I'm actually wearing it now, not to plug them, but little things.
I want some. Can I get me
Your
some?
package will be on the way. Your package will definitely be on the way. And it's amazing, and I never knew something like that existed. But down to other small businesses that started doing medical supplies. Someone who was in the medical industry says, "Hey, you know what? I can make a lot of money, I think, on the surgical supply thing." So we help them get that started and get that going and connecting them. So it really makes a big difference when you have a resource there that reaches out and is active in the community, whether you're a restaurant or whatever, but specifically to those of African descent and those of African Americans that are here. And that's another part of that goal, is uniting those two communities, realizing that we're not different. So for me, I'm not Nigerian, so I'm not. So as much as they say I look it, so I guess that's why I fit in.
Yeah.
But I probably know 2 words, but and I believe I'll be president this time for them as well too. So it's fun, to see people grow. For me, that's my passion. Like I say, philanthropy is in my heart. It's just God's will.
This is crazy because you have your hand in, like you were saying, this and so much. When is the time for Alan to just
that time
just relax?
That time is with the kids, because it's so much. I feel like I'm constantly behind. So it's so much that my kids need to see. It's so much they need to be involved in and be included with that. Because again, life to me, it's all hands on. And if I want to live in a world of change, I have to do that work to make that change. Eventually, and I've tossed around, and probably more so after some other appointments and things happen in Washington, I probably may eventually go down the Senate run path. So very, very soon. So you got a preview. Don't spoil that. That ultimately, I think, is where it'll go. I have no desire to, be a president or anything like that, but that's the path that I kind of want to go down, wherever I can make the most impact, wherever I can make the most common sense and, have my hands into it. I want to be able to do that to make the world a better place, not just for African Americans, not just for me and my family, but for everybody.
For everybody. Yeah, I totally agree with
that. Humankind.
So Alan, so I know for me, like what I do, like the Morning Jam, now with the Morning Jam podcast, with the makeup lives that I do, it is like so amazing for me to just be a blessing to, just to change the heart of women, to not even just with the makeup, the full look, to love who they are from the inside out if they're not wearing makeup. And it's just so warming when I do connect with women that gives me so much feedback and say, "Hey, Crystal, you are doing such an amazing job." And Alan, I want to commend you. You are doing such an amazing job, such an awesome job. So, can you tell the people how they can connect with you, to get a hold to you, to learn more about you, to even, you know,
Yeah,
connect with you to even grow in
yeah,
your area?
absolutely. Definitely, you can always see me in all the projects that I work on, as well as the fashion shows and stuff too. That's a whole another thing that I do
Yes,
for
we'll
fun,
have
and
to
I did
do a
one for
part two.
Bernie Mac. Yeah, we'll save that. And definitely at Mr. underscore terrific on Instagram. You can check me out and see some of the awesome things that I do there. And also at NigeriaGlobalChamber.org, or Northside Housing and Supportive Services, NorthsideHousing.com, and also GreaterRMBA.com. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So, Alan, what would you say to a young man or a young girl that's wanting to reach where you are right now?
I say persevere, work hard, and connect.
Mhm.
Connections are key. Take every connection you can get, whether it's that speaker that comes into your college, get into them and get into it and know what that grind is. Get involved in your community because there's a lot of great people there. And when you
Yeah.
make a difference, you'll become the difference.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. So I so appreciate you, Alan. Like I said, this is family chit chat, and we're going to
You
talk another time too, off camera. So I definitely love
definitely.
you, bro. You keep doing what you're doing because you are awesome. I love what you're doing. Don't let nobody deter. I know that's impossible because you are doing the thing. I so appreciate you again for being right here. Any last words before we get off?
Yeah, we're proud of you too, Crystal. We miss you here in Chicago. You got to come back and take a visit. This world is not as crazy, and you keep doing what you're doing because you're inspiring a lot of people. So
Thank you.
we want to see you even bigger and even more. So
Yes, yes. Thank you, Alan. And you have a wonderful rest of your day. You be blessed,
all
brother.
right, you too.
Bye.
Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.